Hey everybody, happy Thursday. I wanted to jump in here and talk today about how to go about building a successful online business around an online course. Now, if you don't know me, I'm Bobby Klink. I'm the lawyer and online entrepreneur behind Your Online Genius. But I'm also an ambassador within Amy Porterfield's Digital Course Academy. So I've seen what works and what doesn't work for people when they're trying to build an online business. I've seen Amy walk people through building thriving businesses where they are making hundreds of thousands of dollars, where they are having successful launches, where everything seems to be coming up roses. Now, I've also seen people who struggle. And when I think about it, I kind of know what's happening. And when I think about it, I recognize that a lot of entrepreneurs are afraid. They're worried that creating an online course is going to be too hard, is going to be too difficult, is going to, have all kinds of tech issues and these things. And what I've found when I really look at kind of, who's successful and who's not, it's really nothing to do with people who have, great tech savvy. Quite honestly, a lot of the people who've built successful online course businesses can't even deal with the tech. They outsource it. They get other people to do it. Instead, what it is people just kind of go through, the people who go through things and take the right steps in the right order with a guide to help them along the way have had success. And so I wanted to walk through today kind of what are really just 5 steps. There's really only 5 things that you need to do to create an online course. And I want to walk through those, and I want to walk through them in turn. And so that's what I wanted to do today. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Now, I want to talk about step 1. And step 1 is that you have to get to know your audience. A lot of people want to skip this. And when I say a lot of people, I mean me. When I first was dabbling in the online space and building my online business, I created an online course. And I did it without taking the time to get to know my audience. You can probably guess how that worked out. It didn't. I spent over $11,000 in Facebook ads to get people to sign up for my list, to do all of these things. And candidly, I didn't make any money on it. I had one sale, but then the person asked for a refund after 29 days. And so I've made this mistake. And the reality is that if you're going to build any kind of business, but especially an online business, one of the first things you have to do is get to know your audience. And this is true of building a course business, building a membership business, building a service business, building any kind of online business. This is where you've got to start. Now, I am not going to tell you that this involves going and, doing what I call ridiculous, boring, ideal customer avatar or ICA work. I don't care what kind of, what hair color my customer has, what eye color they have. Some people make you do that silly stuff. I don't care what TV shows they watch. What I care about is, what are they struggling with? What are their obstacles? What are the things they need help with that I can help them with? Once I identify those things, I'm going to be in a good position to build a successful online business. So that is step 1. You've got to take the time to get to know your audience. A really good way to think about this and to understand this is that what you need to do is understand your buyer's journey. What is the journey they take from where they are right now to get to the point of buying from you? What are all of the roadblocks in the way? What are the obstacles? What are the things that could trip them up and stop them from getting from where they are to where they really want to be? And if you understand that, if you take the time to understand that journey, you'll really have a good sense for your customers and understanding what it is that they want. And then you're prepared to go on to step 2 and step 3 and all the other steps in the process. So step 1, understand your audience. Take the time to do that. Then you go to step 2. And step 2 is, look, you got to pick a great topic. And this is something that I think a lot of people take for granted, or a lot of people skip and think they can pick a topic that just happens to be something they want to teach. That was kind of the mistake I made the first time. After ignoring or not taking the time to understand my audience, I said, hey, I know what I want to create. I know what these people need, so I'm going to create that. that is a recipe for disaster. What you've got to do to create a great topic is you need to understand your audience. So take the information that you learned from kind of taking the time to understand them, but then also think about, what do you want to teach? What do you enjoy? What are things like that? And you've got to kind of find the intersection. And finding that great topic that really is a perfect mix, and I say perfect, I don't want you to think it has to be perfect, but is a good intersection between what your potential customers want, what their pain points are, what the obstacles are they face, and what you really love, and what you know, and what you have the ability to teach people. When you kind of put those together, you're going to be in great shape, and you're going to have a topic that is really successful. But again, you have to make sure that whatever topic you're picking, it's not just driven by what you want. That's a big mistake people make. If you make that mistake, you may find yourself struggling and launching to crickets, because candidly, your buyers don't care what you want. Your buyers care what they want. So you've got to make sure that you're walking the line of both creating something that your potential buyers want, but that also is within your sweet spot. So that's how you pick a great topic. And again, there's a lot more to it, but that's in a nutshell how you're going to do it. Now, the next thing, though, to understand is step 3, you've got to pick the right kind of course to create. In other words, a lot of people, I think that all online courses are the same. They're not. And different audiences and different course creators will have different needs. And so you've got to tailor whatever you're creating to both what you're prepared for as a course creator, but also what your audience potentially wants. And let me dig into that for a second. What I mean by that is that if you are catering to very busy professionals, quite honestly, you're going to have a tough time trying to sell them a course that has a ton of content, because they don't want that. They don't have time for that. And so you're going to have to make sure that you're creating the right kind of thing. So maybe it's something like a workshop, which is just a couple of hours, and you just get them in there, you give them the information, and then they go. Or maybe your audience wants something more. Maybe they want kind of the big mammer jammer, the big course that covers it all. And so you have to make sure that you're creating the right kind of course that suits both what you're ready to teach, what you want to teach, what you're comfortable teaching, but also what your audience wants. And so again, here in step 3, you're hearing that in step 2 and step 3, you really needed to do that work in step 1 of understanding your audience. So again, if you're joining late, quick recap. Step 1, you got to understand your audience. And that is a key to pretty much everything. Step 2, you have to take the time to pick a great topic. And step 3, you've got to pick the right kind of course, because if you miss on any of these, it can be a problem. That then takes us to step 4. And this is one that I think a lot of people are going to say, wait, what does this have to do with course creation? Well, it doesn't, but it does. Step 4 is you have to build your audience. Now, this is one that I am passionate about, and I preach from the rooftops about this, because I have seen so many people who have bought into the notion that creating an online course is like a field of dreams. If you make it, they will come. You know what? That's not true. I've seen way too many entrepreneurs launch to crickets and put their heart and soul into creating a course, and they have a great course, but they have no audience. And the reality is that if you're going to try to launch a course without an audience, you're going to have a tough time. And so you have to take the time to build your audience. And what does this mean? It means a couple of things. Number 1, you need to be creating regular content that your potential customers, potential buyers are really going to love. This is called having a content strategy, right? And we have to be doing it. We have to be putting out content that gives value that people are going to enjoy, even the people who don't buy from you. You need to keep in mind that in your career as building an online business, 80% of the people who you interact with, probably more than that, probably 90% of the people you interact with and come into your world are never going to buy anything from you. And that's okay. But you need to be creating great content that will nurture those people and nurture some of those people to decide that maybe they do want to buy from you. The other part of building your audience is building your email list. You've got to have an email list. It is the most powerful thing you can have in your business. My email list is what powers my business. I don't have to do launches anymore. I send out some emails and people buy my stuff. And so having that kind of email list that you've nurtured and really kind of given value to will be a huge driver of success for an online course business, or even if you decide that you want to create some other kind of business. So step 4, you've got to build your audience. There's just no way around that. Then this takes us to step 5. And, this may be something where you guys feel like I'm just kind of, glossing over this too quickly. But step 5 is to actually create and launch the course. And it may seem weird that I kind of group this all in one place, but let me be honest with you. If you take the time to truly understand your audience, understand the buyer's journey, understand the obstacles they're having, understand what they want, and you pick a great topic based on that and pick the right kind of course based on that, creating the course actually isn't that hard. Yes, you've got to organize it. You've got to outline it. You got to do that work. But once you have an understanding of your audience and you've picked the right thing and you've taken the time to build your audience and nurture your audience, it's going to be pretty easy for you to know, here's what I need to include, but also, here's what I don't include, because my audience is too busy. I'm not going to give them a 20 module course that has 35 hours of video. And so you'll be able to say, no, I'm not going to do that. Here's what I'm going to include. But you'll also understand how to get them over the obstacles, over the challenges. And all you have to do is organize that in a simple way to do it. And again, what I'm going to tell you is the actual tech pieces that freak a lot of people out aren't that hard. There are things that, yes, if you're a technophobe, I get it. And you can hire a VA, a virtual assistant, to help you do it. But also, it doesn't need to be that hard. I'll just tell you, I've created a number of training programs and courses, and I've done it both ways. I've done direct to camera like this because, look, I'm a lawyer. I like talking. And so I enjoy doing this. But also, a lot of my courses and trainings, you don't see me on camera. I create a PowerPoint with slides, and I use a program called ScreenFlow, and I just record myself doing and kind of walking through the audio on those slides and teaching through that. And then I upload that video somewhere. And there you go. There's a lesson. And so it's really not that hard to actually do it. And then you have to launch it. Well, again, there's a lot of different ways to launch a course, but the reality is that if you've taken the time to do the other steps, to understand your audience, and then to kind of create the right kind of course and to build your audience along the way, launching becomes kind of easy and it can become fun. Now, if you don't like stress, there's going to be some stress involved, but the reality is you already know how to talk to your potential customers, because you know their pain points, you know the obstacles, you know the struggles they're dealing with, and you can talk about those things throughout your launch, and you have a course that will help them overcome those things, and you can explain that to them. So it's really becomes a pretty simple process if you do it right. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, how you build an online course business. Right now, if you'd like to join me, I have a pop-up Facebook group that is all about exploring a digital course business. If this is something you might be interested in doing, you can join it by going to youronlinegenius.com/exploring DCA. Again, youronlinegenius.com/exploring DCA. In that group, among other things, there is a list building boot camp, and there is a content strategy boot camp, which has lessons about the pieces about helping you kind of build your audience, because that's something that I know a lot of people struggle with. There are also resources. There's a quiz that one of my friends put together, and also a starter kit that will help you do things like pick the right topic and pick the right kind of course. So if you head over to youronlinegenius.com/exploring DCA and join the group, you can get access to all that stuff. And I can help you maybe decide whether it's right for you or not to create an online course. So that's what I'd like you to do, is join me over there. But no matter what, don't let kind of the fear of the unknown stop you from creating an online course. It is a great way to build a scalable business model that can give you the kind of freedom you probably want in your life and in your business. So that's all for now. Hopefully I'll see you in the group. I'll talk to you later.